All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all doing okay out there through these crazy times of a stay-at-home advisory. And pretty much going to start off every show here from my house, from my kitchen, by thanking the first responders, the doctors, the nurses, and everybody really just putting their lives on the line, just going into very difficult situations and treating all these patients that are overloading hospitals right now. By all accounts, it's not even the peak of it yet. We're about to enter that. And this COVID-19, it's just a crazy virus that has stopped and changed our worlds in many ways. And here we are now staying at home, hopefully staying at home. I'm still hearing reports. I've been kind of getting more and more angry about this every time that I hear that there are people walking together and hanging out together of all ages. It was Castle Island a couple weekends ago, some reports of Salty the other day. So just people not social distancing. You have to do that. It's the only thing they know about this virus is that social distancing works. So keep your 6 feet, stay away from people. Hang out with the dogs. That's what we've been doing. Speaking of, this is my wife, Sarah. It's
Hi.
the one good thing about doing the show from your own house. My wife is around. Hello, nice coffee mug.
Thank
This
you.
is mine. I love my dog. What do you have? What is that?
I don't know.
You don't know what
It's
that is.
some kind of an animal.
Okay, that's good. I'm thinking this must have been before we got the second dog because it says I love my dog.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have got that if we had
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 two.
two. I don't think.
There's a hair in yours.
No,
We
excellent.
could add an S on there.
Speaking of hair, I think I told you in show 1, I'm going to keep growing this out, I guess, until further notice, until we're done with this thing. We'll see how crazy it looks.
Should we give them the full effect? You want to take your hat
No,
off?
I don't. The hat's on for a reason,
It's
too.
pretty bad.
It's getting wild there. We got a lot of hair right now. But anyways, hope you're all having a good day. Actually, Sarah's here, which is good because one of her friends is coming on the show today.
Mhm.
Who's coming on?
Shayla, my friend Shayla.
She's my producer now.
Yes. I told him he couldn't put random posters in the back because it looked silly.
Yeah, she was even controlling the set. I had my... Where did you eliminate? Here it is.
Oh, now we have stuff in the background.
Shayla who?
Shayla, she is my coworker and my friend, and she is an absolutely amazing person. She's the most positive person I know, and she also has run, she's running the marathon this year. It's going to be her 5th time running it. So very, very impressive and inspirational person.
This is what I wanted in the background today. She won't let me control my own set. So,
Love Tom Petty, but he doesn't need to be there.
okay. So I guess she's in control of this, which I'm going to have to get used to.
And everything.
Also true. So Shayla's coming on. The marathon has been pushed back, of course, mid-April to, September now, right?
September. Yeah, which is tough because they're going to be training over the
Yes,
summer.
that is what I want to ask about. That must really throw off routines. How many did you say?
This is going to be her 5th. But
Okay.
she's surprisingly, she likes to run in the warmth. She's always cold.
So she might win.
So she could win the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably talk to her. You tell me she's nervous about this interview.
Yeah, I am too.
So I think what we'll do is she's going to want you here for the beginning. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Or the whole thing.
we're going to move you out of here pretty quickly. But all right, so let's do this. We'll come right back here and we'll have Sarah's friend Shayla on, who'll be running the Boston Marathon in September, as it turns out. So I have a lot of questions about that and like what it's like to be told that the marathon is being pushed back. Never would have thought that. Must have been pretty jarring. So keep it here. My name is Drew Moholland. It is Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio. Be right back with more. Thanks for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all doing okay. You're not supposed to giggle, Sarah. This is the problem when you have friends on the show. My wife is next to me here, Sarah. This is Sarah's friend, Shayla O'Connell. These two work together. So it's why I'm going to kick my wife out because it's going to turn into a giggle fest by the time this is over. But Shayla, how are you, first of all?
I'm good, Drew. How are you?
Doing good. We're here. Do you mind if we kick Sarah out? Can we say goodbye to Sarah?
No, I need her. She's my security blanket.
All right, let me stay
All
for
right.
a couple minutes.
Do you have? You want to take the first question?
What is it?
That's your call.
Yes, ask me a question.
Okay, my question for you is, how do you feel about the marathon being changed to September?
I feel like it's a double-edged sword because I was really excited for it to be in April, but I think that it's wicked cool that it's in September. Like, obviously you never want it to be postponed or canceled, but I think that it's really cool that it's going to be in the fall, and like it's the first time that that's ever happened. It's never been postponed before. It was canceled once, but it was because of World War I. So I think it's sick that people can like run it in the fall. It's never been done. So I'm like, the city's probably going to look wicked pretty with foliage. So I think it's cool.
I think the one of the things I've been hearing is it makes training a little bit more difficult because now you have to train through the summer.
Yes. But like that doesn't bother me because I love the heat.
Really? Okay.
Like it's harder for me in the winter because I hate being outside and I hate being cold.
Oh.
So I don't mind it at all.
So you're all for the summer training?
For sure. For sure.
You're in the minority though, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm probably by myself with that statement.
I remember like there was one day a few years ago when like it was like pretty chilly and like all the runners were saying, as long as the rain stops,
yeah,
you just don't want the rain. Like they kind of like the colder temperatures. So
yeah, I mean like ideally I would pick like a 75-degree day, but I don't mind the heat at all. Like I feel like with the heat you can always try to cool yourself down. I feel like when I'm freezing, like the 2018 marathon was the coldest marathon in history and I could never warm myself up. Like I feel like you can cool yourself down a little bit, and I just feel like I was freezing for the whole entire time I was running.
That weather was crazy that year, that 2018 one.
Yeah,
we were trying to find you on the route. I remember.
Yeah.
We actually missed you somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
You were just running so fast.
Yeah, because I wanted it to be over.
Now, how many marathons have you done, Shayla?
4. So this will be my 5th.
And your first one was?
2016.
2016. Oh, so they've all been in a row.
Yep.
What, how long are you going to do this for? This is quite a streak you're putting together.
I feel like this will be my last one for this like chapter of my life. I feel like it's like every year it's the best thing I've ever done in my life, but I'm like, oh my gosh, are you going to do this again? And then I'm like, all right, yeah, one more time. But I just am definitely feeling myself tired. So, I mean, for this chapter, I think this will be it, but I want to do it like later on again when I have like kids and stuff.
So the training is still a grind.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm sure you can remember that very first marathon that you did. Was that the hardest one? Was the first one the hardest?
Oh, absolutely. My first marathon was my worst time. I did it in 5 hours flat. I walked so much. And then after that, I just kind of got into like my groove. Like the first time I was like, they drop you off in Athletes Village at Hopkinton High School, and you have to walk almost 2 miles to the starting line. And I was like, okay, so we're definitely getting a warm up in, but like, I'm already tired from this.
You did 28 miles.
Literally.
Well, so you remember that first, like, I'm sure there's a little bit of anxiety. I mean, you had anxiety coming on this show. Never mind the anxiety.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I have it right now currently.
You're doing great.
Notice we haven't kicked Sarah. I think we're
No, I love her. I need her. I need her there.
Be you. I like that coffee mug. So the first one, though, I can like put yourself in another first-timer's shoes this year. It must be a little bit devastating because the whole training regimen thing is really structured, especially the first time.
For sure.
Now to have it pushed back a few months, these people that had it, you know, the schedule, the practice all planned out perfectly, and now to have it pushed back, that's going to be tough. Yeah.
So our coworker Bianca, her husband Kevin, was running. This is his first year running, and I kind of like kept in touch with him on like how he felt. I mean, for me, like I feel comfortable with the course, so I know it. For him, it's like this is the first time and it's going to get taken away from you for a little bit of time. But he was kind of just like, you know what, as long as they keep a date, they keep a date. So, I mean, I guess it's how you think about it, like, and how optimistic you can be.
Were you scared that they may cancel this thing completely?
Yes. But I also truly in my heart thought that they were going to cancel 2018 because of how awful the weather was and the dropout rate, even like the dropout rate for that marathon was the highest in numbers it's ever been because the weather was so severe.
You actually had a really good time that year too, didn't you?
Yeah, 4:18 was my time that year.
4:18 through that.
Yeah. But I was like, I just need to get this over with. Like, I could not feel my body at all. And like, you don't feel it any other time, but like, I truly was like, I don't know if I'm going to be well. And I definitely had hypothermia.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a crazy day. What's like the standard marathon, that point where I'm sure there's points where you feel like you want to quit, right?
Oh, for sure. And mine's like not even an hour in. Like my worst miles, I always talk about it with everyone, is like 7 through 10. Like, I'm like, this is absolutely awful. And like, you're just by yourself.
Geography wise, where are you then at like 7?
So I'm like right before Wellesley. Wellesley is halfway. So I want to say Natick. It might be Natick and then Wellesley.
Okay.
And it's just like, you find yourself, obviously people are on the course everywhere, but there are times where it's just you and you're like, oh my God, like if I stop, is anyone going to look at me? What am I going to do? But after Wellesley, I like feel like I always get like my runner's high, and it's just like halfway there and you're like going, like, I just feel like I coast.
Do you have scream tunnels?
Oh, they like warn you about that. I will never forget. They were like, you mentally cannot let that, because it's so overwhelming, that scream tunnel. They're like, you have to stay focused because you're only halfway done. Like, obviously the energy like lifts you, but you have so much more to do. And people are like, okay, let me take this and like run with it. But then you're in 16 miles and you're like, oh, I have 10 more to go. Like, yeah, you have to stay focused.
Is Heartbreak Hill one of the toughest stretches for you, or is it?
For sure. I feel like I black out sometimes, like, because I literally tell myself mentally, pick one foot up, put the other one down, like, you're moving every single piece of your body, your arms, everything to get up. And it's just like a steady climb. But like, once you're done, like, you feel like so much lighter because you are so much closer to being done.
We hear about all the health issues all the time that people have. Like, it's not exactly the most, pretty experience running a marathon.
No.
Like, what's been the biggest health issue for you? Has it been blisters or?
Yep. So the first marathon I ever ran, mile 16, I looked down and my entire sneaker was filled with blood.
No.
Like, oh my gosh. And I was running with a girl from Winthrop, and she was like looking, like pointing down to it. And she said to me, if you stop, if you go in a medic tent right now, you are not going to get back on this course. And I was like, I will not stop. Like, I cannot go in there and have them take this away from me. So but like the medics were literally like pointing to me, like trying to flag me down because you could see the blood just with me running by. So at the end, after we finished, I got my medal and I went into a medic tent, and it was a blister on my big toe actually popped. And she was like, the nurse was like, do you want me to take a look at your other foot? And I was like, sure. And she took my other sneaker off, and it was a massive blister. She had to call like someone over with like almost like a little knife to pop it. And she was like, I'll never forget, they give you like chips and like salt and whatever you want when you're in there. And she was like, will you ever run this again? And I was like, absolutely never again will I run this race. Here I am.
Getting ready for number 5. Again, we're joined here by Shayla O'Connell, going for marathon number 5 this year, going to happen in September now, of course, as the Boston Marathon has been pushed back with the coronavirus and stay-at-home advisory. How's that going for you? Seems like you're in a basement there. Where are you?
No, this is my little second bedroom, my little yoga office room that I have going on in here. But when Sarah does work meetings, I sit right here because I think that it's calming and nice.
I love the lights behind it. It's calming.
Me too. But I'm like sitting on like a cushion, so I could be like not.
And of course, this is my wife, Sarah, who's going to make it through this interview with us.
Absolutely.
You're listening. Not interrupting.
So you can ask another question. Do you have another question?
Oh, I'm not good at questions. I'm not the reporter.
Okay.
She knows everything anyways.
She knows everything about you.
What else? Oh, you have to tell him your story, like when you were born and your hip and all that.
Oh, okay.
All the things you overcame.
Sure, Sarah, that was such a good point.
Yeah.
So when I was born, I my 6-month appointment, my mom took me to my appointment, and they like left the room and came back and like brought her back like a box of tissues. And I remember it like vividly, her telling me this. And she was like, okay, we're going to have to transport her to Children's Hospital because she has congenital dislocation of the right hip. So what that means is everyone's hip in like the womb forms and goes like this, and mine stayed on the outside like this. And I was in a full body cast until I was 2 years old.
Oh,
and
wow.
I swam before I could walk or even run. And I went to Children's once a year till I was 18, just so they could monitor my hip. And they can't believe that I'm a runner the way that I am now.
Wow, I don't think I knew that about you.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you ever tell me that, Sarah?
I believe I did. You didn't listen. But she's very inspirational. I mean, going through all that and then deciding that she's going to go and run marathons year after year. Like,
yeah.
Cool.
We've known each other a long time, too. Maybe I just forget.
Yeah, I feel like I've told you that, but it's okay. We all forget.
Maybe details. I don't think I knew it was that bad. Full body.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, I should have brought like pictures and stuff for this, but it's okay. But I was like hanging from like the way that they like set your hip up is like they have to put me like in like a cage almost in Children's, and I would just hang so that my hips could like slowly move into the way that they could. My mom said she would walk me up and down the hallway like in this cage, and I'd just be like looking and talking and like bouncing, trying to like talk to people.
Oh.
Wow. I definitely did not know the severity of that. Full body cast for 2 years?
I honestly don't think I knew the full body cast.
Well,
yeah.
Maybe I did.
The truth is coming out now.
Yeah.
Or like the whole 18 years that it was like that much of your life that you were still going to the hospital for that scene.
Yeah.
That is. And then how old were you when you ran your first marathon?
26, 7, 8.
So you think
8?
I mean, you're going to the hospital for that many years, and then a couple of years later,
7, yeah.
And then a marathon.
Is that part of why you do it, you think? Because, I mean, they probably, when you were born, you probably weren't one of the ones that they would guess would be a big marathon runner.
No. And to be honest, I remember we were in Disney on a family vacation, and there was a baby in a carriage with the cast. And my mom actually asked the family what the baby had, and they were like, she has dislocation of the hip. And my mom was like, so did she. And she like called me over, and the woman was like crying. My mom was like, she's a runner. I mean, I was just in high school, but I was still running. And she was like, that is amazing. Like, I have so much hope that my daughter can heal and run and do whatever you want.
That is cool. What is it about running that I mean, obviously the marathons are hard and painful and kind of different sorts of battles, but what is it about running in general that just makes you love it when you go out the door to start a day or whatever?
Oh, I think it's so therapeutic for me, for sure. I think that it like clears my mind. It makes me feel good. It always has been that for me. I mean, I said since I was little, I was like, I either want to go to the Olympics or I want to run the marathon, like no matter what. And I am.
Would you ever think about doing like New York or any of the other big marathons, or is Boston the one for you?
Boston's the one for me. People ask me that all the time. I don't think, well, first of all, Boston's the toughest for sure. I've talked to a lot of marathoners and they say that the course itself is definitely the hardest. But a lot of like coaches and stuff say that if you want to do like your best time, go do like New York or more of a flatter course. But I don't know. I feel so, I mean, I get nervous at the starting line no matter what. I feel like I always will, but I know the course. Like I said before, like I'm comfortable with it. I know when I pass something, when something's coming up, I feel like ready to do it when I get there.
Do the people like, I know you said you had to focus through like the screaming tunnel and all that, but really throughout the whole 26 miles, it's packed. Like it's rows deep of people.
For sure.
That whole afternoon. And does that matter? Do you get uplifted when you hear like?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. And I've seen a lot of people randomly just on the course. Like I will like look over and they'll be like screaming, and I wear headphones. So like I can't, if you're calling me, like I don't know who you are, like I take them out when I turn on to Boylston just to like, because that is like moving when you take that left. But like, I just so happen to see people, and like, I have the coolest pictures of me just being like, like, cause you don't expect to see people in Natick or in Framingham. You just don't think that people would travel, cause most people just go into the city.
Yeah.
But it's for sure like lifts you up, and I feel like it will carry me for at least like a mile until I get back down into remembering what I'm doing.
Your foot's bleeding.
Yeah, literally.
You talked about taking that left. I've always thought like if I was doing it, like once you hit Kenmore and you get like a couple miles left,
yeah,
like, that's the point where like, okay, I'm finishing here. And
yep.
Maybe the Red Sox game's getting out. It's always passing Kenmore Square. Like I've always thought that would be an amazing point to get to, because then it kind of becomes fun, right? Like
yes, for sure. For me, it's always, now that the bridge is painted, the Boston Strong, like once I go under that, I know that like I am so happy to be where I am. Like Boylston, it's right onto Hereford, left onto Boylston. Boylston's like a half a mile long, which doesn't seem long, but when you're at that last leg of 26 miles, it is like, oh my gosh, like remember like you take the left and it's like, oh, everybody in the buildings, it feels like it's consuming you. It's like electrifying. But it's still like, oh my gosh. And I'm like looking for my family, looking for my friends. And they luckily have been in like the same spot every single year. So I know where they're going to be.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That is cool. What's the, is there like are you thinking just cross the finish line and then we can relax for another week or two? Like, I don't know what you do to celebrate. I don't know if you run to, some people run to the bar,
Yeah, we usually do. Well, first your body, I feel like, takes a while to come down off of like such a high. Like I will be like so excited to see everyone hug and like take pictures, and then I get freezing, which I don't like at all. Like I don't like feeling that from my body. Like I just feel like you like shake and I'm like, okay, I really feel uncomfortable. I want to get out of here. But we've gone out to like dinner afterwards and just like celebrate for a little. And then I'm kind of like by 5, 6 o'clock, I want to just like wrap it up and like relax.
Yeah. How long does it take your body to recover?
The marathon Monday night sleep is probably the worst sleep that you could ever have. Like your muscles and your body twitch and you don't even know
really?
It's happening. Like, I would say for me personally, about a week, I would say. Really? Like Tuesday's not good, Wednesday's not good, probably by the end of the week. I remember I ran the Monday afterwards just to get like my legs moving, because you don't want to get stiff and you want to keep your muscles like loose.
Yeah, I was going to say, so there's no running during that week of marathon Monday?
Oh God, no. There's just like, for me personally, I want everything that's salty like all day, every day.
Yeah.
Because your body like loses so much through your sweat that I just want like chips and French fries and bad things that you shouldn't eat after a marathon.
Well, I think you've probably earned it after 20 miles. Any near disasters on the course? Any near collisions? Any near?
Oh my gosh, yes. It is, when you start, I want to say the first probably 5K, 3 miles is so congested that people fall. You're trying to like weave in and out to like get yourself into a groove, but there's so many people. And like, I'm sure everyone's like seen the pictures of what the starting line looks like, but it does no justice until like you're like shoulder to shoulder with someone else trying to like move around so that you can get a stride. Because for me, it's all about getting comfortable on like my run. But I've seen people fall. I've seen people pass out. I've seen people muscles cramp and just go down. I've seen people run with no shoes on, which I thought was very daring.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
So when somebody does go down, like I'm sure there's a part of you that like human nature is like, oh no, let me help.
Oh, for sure.
You're like, I'm sure you're trained. No, you keep going.
Yeah. I mean, there is the beginning of I would say the first 13 miles, there's a medic tent, I want to say every like mile and a half. And then once you get past halfway, they're like every single mile, because that's when people really start to like deteriorate and like you're kind of losing yourself when you go down. So like, but there's people watching everywhere. So like, I feel like even if it wasn't someone that's personally on the course, someone's going to come out and help no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Do you, so you weren't running during the marathon explosions. That was before you started.
Yeah. No.
Sure. There's a can you feel that kind of, the race has definitely changed in the years past then. It's just as big as it was, it's almost like something bigger now. And there's those memories that people have when they run by on Boylston and all that.
For sure.
Do you find yourself kind of looking around sometimes too? And
absolutely. I feel like the first time I got to Hopkinton, I was just kind of like, I mean, I do think that the security is top notch. I think that they have it really under control. I feel safe when I'm there. I mean, you can see there's people on roofs, there's people everywhere, like whether they're dressed in uniform or not. I've never felt nervous to run or unsafe. But I do feel like with you saying how the races has changed, the past 3 years, I've been able to like on Boylston run right up to my family and like hug them. And like they videotape me and like it's a wicked powerful moment. Like it's what I look forward to at the end. And this year was the 5th anniversary of the bombing. And when I turned on to Boylston, I was looking for them. And I remember there was an extra barricade. So I actually couldn't go up to hug them. So it was a fence. And then like they were behind a double fence. So I remember looking at them and being like, why can't I come up to you? But it was, I guess, just different from a year before, which stinks. But at the same time, it's great that they're taking that precaution. But I like really look forward to like hugging them on Boylston.
Yeah, I think they'll always probably be making security adjustments. And
yeah, for sure.
As the years go by. But I agree with you though. I feel it's something about like it was amazing to me that year after those bombings and every year since, people just kept coming out. There was never a sense of fear. Like I've been to, I think every one since then in some fashion. And it's, you don't feel scared watching it. People just came back and moved on with life and pushed forward. Yeah,
for sure. I definitely feel safe, which I think is an awesome way to feel. You don't want to have that along with every other emotion that you're bringing to the marathon. You don't want to have one that's unnecessary. And I feel like being scared to do it is something that's unnecessary when it's such a powerful thing.
How about other runners supporting other runners? Because do you get some of that out there? I mean, this is an individual sport. There's nobody else that's going to pick you up if you want to quit. I mean, it's in the end, it comes down to you, but are there other people that you can feed off of and kind of help push along the way?
Oh, for sure. I feel like once you get past probably like that 5K mark, you'll see like the pack kind of that you're with. And like, you'll like pass someone and then maybe you'll slow down so they'll pass you. But like you always, like I personally just try to stay with that pack and like move as a unit rather than just as me. But it's, I don't know, some people can pick it up and be faster and some people just are tired and worn out.
Do you, is there ever any moment during the race where you're kind of cruising along and just something kind of throws you off? It might be something that was like hilarious or like, well, you don't see that every day, or like, what's the wild story from the marathons of your past?
Well, one year, my first year that I was running, my friends went to Framingham and I thought that I saw one of my friends, because when you go through Framingham, it's like the college absorbs you. Like everyone there is like a college student that's like screaming and like excited, very similar to Wellesley, but it's in the beginning of the course. And I got almost like off the course to like hug her because I thought it was her, and the girl turned around and it wasn't her. And I was like, oh God, I am so embarrassed. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. Like now I'm just like, that was my one like mess up for me. And I was like, I am like tunnel vision now. I'm not doing that. Just look straight. And if people see you, they'll see you. But I definitely feel like people, like I saw the guy with no shoes 2 years in a row. And I was like, how are you not? And like his feet are like sandpaper flat. Like I was like, how are you not wearing shoes? And he is the same man I saw 2 years in a row. So we must have a similar like pace, because I was like, oh my gosh, here he is again. And he has no shoes on. That to me is wild.
Huh.
Wild.
I'm surprised you don't see more of the same runners.
I know. It's such, I feel like the 2018 when the weather was awful, I ran in a poncho for 25 miles. So I feel like you couldn't even see anyone. Like, I feel like it was just like the hood came up and you were like this just to get it over with.
And that was your best time? That's your kind of conditions?
My best time was last year with 4:12.
4:12. Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
So I've gone down every single marathon, which I'm really happy about.
that's getting pretty serious.
Yeah. I really hope to be. I want to get really close to 4. That's my goal for this year.
Summertime too. You're going to train in the summertime in a fall marathon. You could probably win.
Yeah. I'll come back on the show as the winner, and I'll be a lot more rich.
Why not set high expectations? If you don't meet them,
Seriously,
who cares? Well, that's good. So what is going to change though about summer training? I mean, is it just, do you have to do you have a booklet or something that says you got to be running this?
So I do a lot of my training on the bike. I like to spin a lot. So I feel like
On a bike?
On like a spin bike.
Oh.
I feel like that for me has helped a lot, especially with this past marathon. I did a lot of my training on the bike, and then I did a half marathon, and then Boston has like the known training day, which is like the third Saturday in March, where you run from Hopkinton to BC right after Heartbreak Hill. It's 21 miles, which we obviously didn't get to do this year because of Corona. But I feel like for me, I like to be off the pavement. I feel like hitting the cement does a lot for my legs. So if I can stay off of it as much as I can and still get such a great workout on a bike, I will do that. But I'll definitely get out for a half a marathon this summer, and then definitely do Hopkinton to BC outside.
What do you want to run on? Is beach good for you? I've always wondered that.
I've done a race. I did a race on the beach once in high school, and I feel like you have to be really careful with your foot placement. Like if you do one wrong move and your ankle's going out underneath you with the sand, it's tricky for me. I'd rather be just on the cement flat road, but I don't know. I don't want to risk injury, and especially being outside a lot is you can risk injury all the time.
Is there again, this is Shayla O'Connell here doing a boat to get ready, and you're training right now, right?
Yeah.
Are you raising the roof? That's very good.
Yeah.
The roof,
something like that.
The roof that looks like it's right on your head there.
It is. It's like right here.
All right, Shayla O'Connell getting ready for marathon number 5, Boston Marathon number 5. And we're talking about a whole sorts of things in regard to the marathon. I wonder, I've always liked the idea of getting the jacket as the people who wear that thing. It's like a huge, I can see when another person who has ran it and has that jacket on and sees somebody else with it on.
Yeah.
It's like the respect is like immediately in that direction. Like, you're part of the club.
Yeah, for sure. And this year's are sick. They are literally the sickest ones I've ever been a part of. I mean, this one, I got this sweatshirt at the expo, which I like this one a lot too, but the jacket itself for this year is so cool. Like, what's better than having red, white, and blue as your jacket? I mean, I have one, I think from 16, it was a cool blue, but the other one was like mint and pink. And I was like, I'm not really like my style. So I've passed on a couple of them, but this year I cannot wait to get the one for this year. It's so cool.
Talk about that camaraderie between other runners. You talked about, how sometimes you can, run with them and become sort of a pack on the course, but how about off the course? Like, I'm sure you've got to meet some really interesting people and learn some great stories of fellow runners. What's that like, being part of that pack?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to join. When I ran for Children's Hospital, I feel like that was the biggest charity that I've been involved with. And it's just so many people from so many different backgrounds with so many different purposes. Like, I just feel like people, like, I've been running my whole life, so it's kind of all I've known. But some people are just like, I'm going to run the marathon, which I feel like is so cool. Like Bianca's husband, Kevin, I'm just going to run this marathon. Like, he was a wrestler. That to me is admirable. It's like, I love to run, so that's why I'm going to do it. But for people who just want to pick it up because they feel like they can is really cool.
That's cool. And who are you running for this year?
So the past 2 years, I've been running for JDRF for Bianca, who has diabetes, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation.
There you go. Good pull.
Yeah.
You're kind of a veteran at this whole marathon running thing now. You're very excited. I hear a dog coming.
Hi, Henry.
Do we want to say hi?
Did you see Henry?
I did see Henry. I think. Was it Henry?
If you saw him, it would be Henry.
I can
Henry's
pick Mookie
bigger.
up. Henry's too big.
Yeah, we can't pick That's Henry's first appearance on the show.
Temperamental.
Mookie showed up last time. Oh, there's Mookie. He wants to say hello.
Say hi. Come here.
Usually Mookie declines. Sarah has to kind of catch him. There you go. Oh, hey, Mookie.
Hi, Mookie.
Say hi.
We match. He obviously got the memo.
There you go.
Yeah, he knew.
All right. There you go. He's a good dog. Very good. You know,
Very good.
Since you're a veteran here of the marathon running game, you know, this girl, Sarah did a half marathon. You know.
Yes, she told me.
Do you think we could up that to a marathon? If you can do a half, can you do a full if you put your mind to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like anybody could do it if they really mentally wanted to, because I feel like it's definitely more mental than it is physical.
Told you.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I won't be running a marathon. I did my half and I did that. And I am very inspired by everyone who runs marathons, but I don't think I could do it myself.
Well,
It's a lot.
So we'll sign her up next year, basically.
Say it. Say it.
We'll sign you up next year, basically.
Oh, okay. She'll just sign me up for it. I have to sign up for the TikTok. We're each, as the teachers are all doing a little TikTok dance.
Yeah.
these two are both teachers, by the way.
Yeah.
They just expected you to know at home.
Yeah. Sorry. I forgot for a second that we were being recorded for a
We
show.
have fans. The fans know.
Yeah. Yeah, they know what we're talking about.
Well, there you go. You two, what's teaching like these days?
It's different.
Yeah.
Do you miss
We're
the
trying
kids?
to figure out technology. We miss the kids a ton.
Yeah, for sure.
It's,
A huge adjustment, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. A lot of teaching. Are you using all the apps and Zooms and Google House or whatever it is to teach?
Google Hangouts is the
Google
new
Hangouts.
thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Won't let us use Zoom anymore because of the Zoom bombers.
Yeah.
But Google Hangouts is the new thing that we're going to try. So,
Tougher on the teachers or tougher on the kids?
Kids.
yeah, definitely.
I think so.
Lots of structure and everything is really hard, especially for this amount of time. I mean, anything past a week, I think, is hard on them. So,
Yeah. And I feel like if you can't, like, it's hard for us to process it as adults. So how do you explain it to a child, you know, and have them be like comfortable with it? I don't know. It's just weird.
It is. Well, we hope you're doing okay there in hunker down mode.
I'm okay.
It must be good to have to train though. That gives you something to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been working out every day. I'm like not tired from work, so I guess I'll just work out. Like it's nice to just get up in the morning and work out and be like, okay, now I worked out for the day. I feel good because that's all I do.
See, I've been working out a lot too. The problem is like I'm like eating frozen pizza also.
Oh, same, 100%. So it's a balance.
Yeah. I think they're ruining each other's progress. Well, anyways, we all have coffee mugs. Cheers to another great marathon.
Cheers.
Yay!
This is the
And your first show. So what do you call the show, Drew?
oh yeah, this
Afternoon drive.
Afternoon drive.
Really,
I'm one of Drew's biggest fans.
yeah, that's very sweet of you. Whatever, it is true actually. She's every time we ever post a show, Shayla's like the first one to.
Oh, she's for sure your biggest fan. I'm a little further down the line.
Sweet
But
of
I
you.
watch them eventually.
Oh, me too. I always watch them.
The what was I going to say? You derailed my thought there. What was I going to say? Oh, I had something funny to say.
That I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
She's always the first to like every post.
That's definitely true. This is a good little thing we get going though. The I've been ending every show by thanking the first responders and the medical workers
For sure.
for this crazy time going on the front lines.
And the people in the grocery stores.
Oh,
Yeah.
my cousin
Essential
texted
workers.
me this morning and said, I feel really bad for the people that have to work in there all day. It seems
Yeah.
like it's just a really tough spot to be.
Yeah, very stressful, I feel like.
We've been out of there for like a week, but have you had to go over the last week, grocery store?
Yeah, we went when it first happened that Friday, like the March 13th weekend. We went like 4 times in the weekend, just picking up random things to think that we needed, but probably didn't. And then we just actually went back to get a few things this week. And it was the first time that we had to do like waiting in the line outside because they're only allowing 140 people in at once.
Mhm.
So that was new this week.
Crazy.
Yeah.
hopefully we won't be wearing masks for the marathon. I don't think that's
No kidding, right? Definitely be hard to breathe that way.
probably couldn't run in it. I'm thinking even people on the sidelines too, you know. September. Hopefully we're out of it by then. If everybody keeps their social distance.
For sure.
Stay home.
Thank you both for your teaching. I see you both working hard while you're home and through a tough time.
Yep. Thank you, Drew. This was awesome.
Good. I had fun. This was
Me
good.
too.
I know you. Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Oh,
you were upset that you weren't going to be able to come into the studio and wear the cool headphones.
yeah, and the microphone thing.
What's the microphone thing?
Well, you talking to that cool little microphone thing, and I wanted to talk into that too.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I think for the next show we should make those microphones and like pretend that we have them.
Okay, can you send me one to my house?
Yeah.
I guess it's the little things you take for granted. I didn't realize how much you liked the microphone.
No, I just think that it's so cool and like official. Like I feel like it's like you feel. I mean, this is wicked cool too, but it's like so awesome that you're like.
You want to be in the studio.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, we'll do that. How about we do? You run the marathon. You'll have 5 in the books. Maybe you win.
Yeah.
We'll win the marathon, then we'll do another show.
And then we'll have you on again.
Perfect.
Shayla O'Connell, thank you so much.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Zach.
Good luck. Be safe out
Bye,
there.
Shayla.
Thank you.
All right. Shayla O'Connell getting ready for marathon number 5, which will now take place in the fall. We got there's a lot of questions about how this marathon goes down in the fall, and we'll see how that all plays out. Training, changes, regimen, all that stuff. But yeah, it should be interesting. At least they didn't cancel it. I'm thrilled about that.
That's right.
My wife's Shayla's still here.
Yeah.
That's the end of the show. Would you like to say goodbye?
Goodbye, everyone.
This is your first full show.
I'm glad you let me stay for the whole thing.
Me too. I loved it.
I loved it too. It was great. I learned a lot.
I'm not sure we're going to make it a habit, but.
No, I'm definitely getting kicked out after this one.
I'll never be back on.
Thank you all. We'll see you next time. This has been Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. This is my wife, Sarah Conway, and Shayla O'Connell was our guest today. Thank you all. We'll see you next time. Be safe, everybody.
Drew.
Bye.
Bye.